everybody, welcome back to another channel. Video. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about foundation and concealer 101. So these are the basic things about foundation and about concealer. So let's just dive right in. So first we're going to be talking about liquid foundation. I currently don't own a liquid foundation right now. I mean, technically this is like a liquid foundation, but it's not. It's not. So I will insert a picture of one. So this just works really well like for all skin types. It's really beneficial for covering, and you can build up the coverage, which is really nice. And it's really nice for people that have mature skin or dry skin, as it could be a little bit more hydrating when you have a liquid foundation over a powder foundation. Powders can be quite mattifying and drying. So having a liquid foundation, if you have more mature skin, lots of fine lines and wrinkles, it can kind of help to blur those out. As well as if you have dry skin, the liquid part of the foundation can be quite hydrating if you have the right ingredients into it, which can help with dry skin and not have it just pack on and cake on to that dry patch. Then there's powder foundations. So like I said, powder foundations can be quite mattifying and drying. So these are pretty good more for oily and combination skin. You can use them with dry skin. I just wouldn't recommend using it as a foundation in itself, more as just a touch-up. So this can camouflage the look of imperfections and minimize the appearance of wrinkles for a more rejuvenated look. It is also great to mattify your foundation. So if you're having a little bit of oily, you can always just like pack it on, and it gives you a little bit more coverage. Sometimes if I'm wanting more coverage, I will set my makeup with a powder foundation instead of a translucent setting powder, and it just gives you more coverage under the eyes or coverage like around the cheek area, wherever you are wanting it. The next is a stick foundation. Oh, this is powder foundation, this guy. The next is stick foundation. So this is a stick foundation, this guy right here. So these are cream based. They're stick foundations, and they're really popular for being the easy application. If you are just a beginner, if you're just starting, just learning, this stick foundation is the easiest one to go for. You just like plop it on and blend it out. It is pretty much known for being foolproof. So yeah, this one's the most easiest, and it's really good for building the coverage, because you can just like apply it and tap it out, and it's great for building up the coverage. And then we have the CC cream. So this is the e.l.f. CC cream. So these are really good for like just adding a little bit of coverage without that foundation look. You can even have ones that are color correcting, but the CC creams are just really nice for wanting a little bit of coverage and not wanting that feeling of foundation, not wanting the look of the foundation, still wanting to be very natural, but with the coverage, then a CC cream is the best way to go. Alright, so tips for the liquid foundation. So first, you're really going to want to moisturize. As you'll see in lots of my videos, I do really like to use the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Base Moisturizer, but you always want to moisturize. Even if you don't believe in primer and you don't use primer, you always want to moisturize and start with a clean base and then moisturize base. So always make sure your face is clean and prepped and washed before you apply your foundation. Then you apply your moisturizer, and then you can apply your foundation. If you just apply a foundation on top of, for lack of better words, dirty skin, it's not going to have that flawless base as it would if you applied that moisturizer and had a clean, fresh washed face. So what you're going to want to do with the liquid foundation, the best way to apply it is to dot it on first. So just put a little bit on the back of your hand or on the back of a palette, and you're going to want to either with a brush, a sponge, or your finger, dot it onto where you want the most coverage. So you're going to want to put it under your eye. If you don't want to put it under your eye where your concealer's going to be, more just where your cheekbone is. So like right here, right there, your forehead, right in the middle of the forehead, like your T-zone area, your nose, and your chin. And then you're going to want to spray your brush or your sponge with a little bit of setting spray and blend it out. I like to start in the middle of my face and blend it out, so that way we have the most coverage where we need it, and then it just flawlessly blends out and smooths its way out. Tips for powder foundation. So again, moisturize. Clean base, moisturize. That's going to be the most flawless layer. And then you're going to want to take a fluffy brush. If you use anything too dense, you're not going to get that nice even layer. So you're going to want to use a fluffy brush to get that even layer. Then you're just going to want to build the coverage by just layer after layer. Now you can, if you're layering too much, you can get that cakey look, so you want to be very careful when using this. A lot of people prefer to use powder foundations more for once they have finished that liquid, then they put on a little bit of that coverage like I was saying. But the best way to apply it, if you're just wanting to straight apply it, is with a fluffy brush and you apply it. And then tips for stick foundation. This goes pretty much the same for the CC cream, is basically the same way you apply the liquid foundation or really any kind of foundation. But the tips for the stick foundation is, of course, moisturize. Then you take your stick, you just swipe it onto where you want the most coverage, so chin, cheeks, forehead, and then again with a sponge or a brush, you spray it with some setting spray or some water, but setting spray is a little bit better, and then you just pat that out. And also, the best way to find if your foundation matches your skin is not by your wrist. It is not by your hand, your wrist, or your arm. A lot of people think that, but it's not true, because you are always in the sun. Your hand is often a different color than what your face is. Because, your arm's out the window, your arm's, getting the most sun, things like that. Your body is usually a different color than your face. So the best way to do it is on your jaw, your neck, or your cheek. Now, I know in a lot of places you can't just take the foundation and put it on your jaw to match it to your neck and to your face. So then the next best thing would be to doing it right here, or even doing it next to your stomach or something like that doesn't get as much sun. But the best possible way, if you can, is right here to match it to your neck and your face. Now let's talk about some concealers. So liquid concealers, this guy. So this is a really good versatile concealer because it's really good for dark circles, it's good for covering blemishes, it's good for acne scars, and other imperfections. So a lot of people will do like the triangle, because the triangle is something that a lot of people will believe that it draws the focus to your eyes. And yes, but that can also look quite cakey, and it can look a lot and very bright under the eyes, which is something that a lot of people love. Perfect. What I like to do with concealer is I put a dot right here, just a dot right there, right like that. And then I bring it up here, just like that. So it's still kind of like a triangle, but it's not a full triangle, if that makes sense. I will, again, insert some pictures. Using a liquid foundation or liquid concealer is great for just covering those dark circles, any sort of blemishes, or spot concealing. Then we go in with the stick foundation. So again, it is cream based, just like this. Now, the liquid concealers are great for any kind of skin type, where the stick ones are not the same versatile for that. These are really good for oily or combination, just because the formulation can be quite heavy when it's a stick concealer, and with the cream base it can be quite heavy, and that could be causing a lot of issues for people with dry skin or mature skin. So this is an easy full coverage, great concealer. You can like spot conceal with it, and you can like use it for dark circles and all that stuff, but again, it can be quite heavy, so it's just not best for people with dry or mature skin. I really like using this on my lids for a eyeshadow base. And then we have the cream concealers. So again, I don't have one like that where it's like in the pot. I will insert a picture of it. But the cream concealers, they're thick, creamy formulation. They have the best coverage for the dark circles. They have the best coverage for acne scars. And they're probably the best ones on the market for people that have a lot of blemishes and, so to say, imperfections that they might see, just because it's a little bit of a heavier formulation. Now, I will say these are not good for oily skin, just because the formulation might cause a little bit extra oils. So that's all for the concealers. A little tip, you can apply your concealer underneath your foundation if you're wanting a little bit more coverage, but generally the best way to do it is to color correct and then apply your foundation, leaving a gap under your eye, and then applying your concealer and blending it out with the same sponge or brush you used your foundation with. That will give you a little bit more coverage from the previous foundation. I find that doing that gives me the best coverage, but if you find that you need a little bit more coverage, you can do the concealer first and then blend the foundation on top of that. And the reason that I leave the little gap is because I find that if I put foundation right up to my under eye, then I put concealer, it can cause a little bit of cakiness. So I just like to leave that gap. Also, you always want to set your concealer and set your foundation with a good setting powder. Otherwise, it's just going to crease, it's going to come off, it's going to break apart, and it's just not going to look good. So you're really going to want to set that down with a great primer or great powder to make sure it can last all day. Now, I will insert a little bit about the color correctors, and because there's lots of color correcting concealers that are great on the market. Like if you have lots of redness, you counteract it with green, vice versa. So I will insert a little thing about color correctors and different concealers and all of that. I will also be inserting some more information down in the description box for detailed descriptions on the products and ones that I like and things like that, little tips and tricks. I also will be starting to post little tips and tricks every Tuesday. I'm thinking about doing Tip Tuesday, and every Tuesday I'm going to be posting a new tip for any sort of beauty world thing, any sort of hair care, any sort of just self-care. We'll be posting every Tuesday for Tip Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please get a thumbs up. Comment down below other things you might want to learn about, or if you have any more information about foundations and concealers that you think that I should have mentioned. I can definitely do another video on this and go into more details. I just wanted to do like the basics, describing of what foundation and concealer and things like that, as well as I also have a video about skin prep, which is a super important step to do before you do your foundations. So I will have that linked as well, so you can definitely watch that. I would definitely recommend watching that before you do your foundation. And yes, all my videos, all my socials will be linked down below, and I'd love if you would subscribe to the channel. Join the family. It's free. It's fun. Please. Ring that bell to never miss another one of my videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!